here is very basic. I'm not saying anything complex. It's honestly kind of like, chapter 1 of technical analysis learning. Most people don't read anything, so they don't know these things. But this was the previous all-time high for the S&P 500. It was set in January of 2022, at the end of 2021, whatever. We backtested that all-time high. Now, backtesting an all-time high is usually not something that happens in a late stage of a bull market. Usually, if you backtest the previous all-time high, it's for two reasons. Number one, you're close enough to the all-time high. And number two, you have so much strength that you're able to produce a beautiful rally off that all-time high. And it's really important from a psychological perspective, okay? If the market has this level as resistance marked out, comes back down to capture it as support, this is the market telling you, with the bears in charge, that there is a real chance that the market is headed into total annihilation, total collapse. And we did pass the dictionary definition of a bear market for the S&P 500, which is a 20% crash. We fell by 21.5%. So, from all angles, if you're bearish, you're getting everything you want over here. And then the market flips it and goes turbo fucking nuclear bullish, and you're pumping literally for like 5-6 months straight. Okay? That's what happens when you backtest an all-time high, and it turns out that actually when you're at the low, Donald J. Trump tweets out that it's time to buy the stock market, and he literally just gives you the signal, and you end up seeing an incredible rally, and the bears are no more, the bulls are the ones that are in charge, and that kind of vigor is exactly what sends these markets to rally for a long time afterwards, not for a short period of time. That just happened. If we mark down where that happened on Bitcoin, that was like basically right here. Yeah? So really, really important that Bitcoin is actually, according to the S&P 500, because we know Bitcoin's going to be pegged to the S&P 500 in large, in large part, Bitcoin's actually in a pretty good place. Now, as far as Bitcoin's price action, it's not very extreme. We haven't seen any extreme pullbacks throughout this bull market. The largest pullback we've seen was minus 32%, and my goodness, it was terrible, the reaction that people had. It was really, really bad. Everybody lost their mind over this move. They shouldn't have, because we should all know that Bitcoin can tolerate 40% drops without losing stature in a bull market. Okay, this is a fact. I know that it sounds really wide and it sounds unrealistic. Sammy, how can you tolerate 40%? It's too unrealistic. I get it. But that must mean you're new to crypto. Okay, because it's normal. It's just normal. If you don't like it, you're in the wrong asset class. I say this all the time. Shout out to those of you that are subscribed. You've been hearing this for a while. I say this all the time. If you don't like it, you're in the wrong asset class. Okay, so Bitcoin's been looking good from that perspective. S&P 500's been looking good from this perspective. Now we've gotten the first little drop on the S&P 500 on a weekly scale. It's nothing crazy. We've already seen drops similar to this in size. This is a 3.5% drop. So far, from high to low, we're down by 3.2%. We also had this drop right here. This was a 3.2% drop. Understand, ladies and gents, this drop the S&P 500 has seen, we've already gotten it multiple times since we set the low this year after the Trump tariff. And by the way, this was Trump's tariff drama. The same thing that caused the drop today, it's tariffs. He put tariffs on the whole world over here. It didn't work out. They ended up even going back on those tariffs. Didn't work out, markets rallied. He did it again to China today, the market dropped. Come on, let's be real. Let's be a little bit better than teenagers and children about this. We've seen this earlier this year. 6 months ago, we've seen this. So we're just not in a bad place, and you can't convince me that we are. We're just not. Bitcoin right here. Not financial advice, obviously. Do your own research. But Bitcoin right here. Incredible posture, incredible rally. We put this onto the 3-month chart. Look at Bitcoin from a really zoomed out perspective. Here's what Bitcoin's bull markets have looked like. What is this? I've never drawn a box like this. Anyway, here's how previous bull runs have gone for Bitcoin. Typically, they start off a little bit slow, and then they speed up. And let's actually put this on the monthly. It's even easier to see. We see an initial kind of, relatively slow move in the bull market. And then it picks up and it goes crazy. Let me draw that again. We see a relatively modest you know, ascension, nothing too crazy. But then we do this. And again, we did it in the previous bull market. We just had a little bit more of a scenic route. And then we took off. And so far, this entire bull cycle that we've had so far has been very tame. We're just not moving up at an aggressive gradient right now. And usually that's going to come, and you're going to get something like that. I'm not saying it's taking us up to 1.5 million. I don't have that much lotion out, you know, to go to town. That's not what I'm saying. But 200k, 300k, these are much more reasonable price levels. And yeah, we had a little bit of a drop today. A lot of people got liquidated. It's crypto. It happens. The large scale perspective here remains unchanged. I mean, like I said, if it is true that we just witnessed history, the COVID crash was 1.2 bill, the FTX crash was 1.6 bill in liquidations, and today was 5 to 8 times higher than that. If that is truly what we're seeing today, then I'm sorry. But a 10% pullback on Bitcoin is just not a lot. It's actually a huge mark of strength. Is there any other way to interpret this? We've seen a potentially, allegedly, historic day of liquidations. It's currently at $19 billion in liquidations. Everyone's got different numbers. We've seen a historic number of liquidations. And we're now trading 10% below the all-time high. It's just not much of a reaction. The market is eating this up. Listen, bull markets will eat up bad news like it's nothing. And that's what we're doing here. We're not having a crazy reaction to, honestly, a very, very crazy thing in the market. So I think that's really important. We look at market structure for Bitcoin. We still haven't had that explosion that we always tend to get. Even here, we started this bull market. This is very early days. We started this bull market off with, you know, a certain level of strength, a certain level of aggression, and then bam, completely different. Here, got a certain level of strength, and then bam, completely different. Here, certain level of strength, bam, completely different. We're used to this. We've been seeing this for a long time. We've been seeing this for a long time. So, you know, Bitcoin from a bunch of different perspectives is still in really good posture on the weekly time frame. Throw on some indicators to give us some, you know, to see where they are. Weekly momentum. We just touched the top of that range. This stretches all the way down to 97k. Listen, I know a lot of people are not going to be happy to entertain levels like 97k, but who cares? I mean, that's not going to stop the market. Right? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if you don't like these price levels. The market doesn't stop because you're uncomfortable with the price drop. The market's just going to do what it does. This was a 32% drop. A 32% drop from Bitcoin's all-time high now puts it at $86,000. Can you stomach that? Would you be okay with it if Bitcoin fell down to there? If you can't, if you wouldn't be okay with it, then this market's not for you, Chief. And that's okay. Not everyone's suited to crypto. You don't have to be in... You can be in stocks. You can be in gold. You can be in something else. You don't have to be in crypto. You don't even have to invest your money. Maybe it's just not... Maybe the game, it just isn't for you. Maybe it's too stressful. Maybe you're losing your life over it. I'll tell you, it doesn't have to be that way. At all. Like I said, we've worked with a lot of people on that in our coaching offer. We are raising prices on this. We've worked with a lot of people that have had these issues. They don't have these issues anymore. You know, this is something we're great at dealing with and fixing permanently. If that's something you think you'd be interested in, you can reach out over here. It is a serious package, but if you think you'd be interested, a member of the team will give you information on that. While you are down there, check out the link to Blowfin. Free money to trade with. If you want to throw that money anywhere, just YOLO it. That is yours to play with. All you got to do is start trading using this link, and they're going to deposit that free bonus into your account. Any profits you make with that money is yours. Check them out if you're not from a restricted region. Apparently, we're dumping again. Yes, we are. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Put this on the 1 hour. And Bitcoin on the 1 minute here. And yes, we are seeing a bit of a dump here. Let's see where this ends up going.